Hello everyone, welcome to another daily Devo. We are continuing in the book of Romans. We're in Romans chapter 14 and I'm going to kind of finish up this chapter, verses 13 through 23, and I do encourage you to go and read this little section of this chapter. Don't be confused by it. I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit. In this, Paul uses the example of food to talk about some disagreements and opinions and how strong you should have your opinion and whatnot. So don't be confused by the food reference. He used that because back then, that food of being unclean or clean was very prominent. That was a division. That was an argument and opinions that people had. So we're going to move forward to today and how can we use this today? And I have a question for you guys. Do you guys know someone that is a know-it-all, that is prideful or arrogant, or complete opposite? Do you know someone, or are yourself meek and shy and goes along with what everybody else wants to do because they don't want to share their opinion? I'm that kind of person. I go along with what people say, just kind of keep the peace. God's working on my heart with that. He's showing me daily how my opinion matters and my voice matters in certain circumstances. In this section, Paul talks about and references that food in reference to our faith and how we need to share our faith. We need to be careful with how strong that we can be in sharing our faith. Yes, we need to share Jesus with other people. Totally true and totally recommendable. But we need to be careful of how we share our faith. Are we being too pushy? Or maybe we're not being pushy enough and we're just kind of being in the shadows and in the background. How do you share your faith? What is that to you? Some people can be offended if you share or put off the demeanor that you know everything about Jesus. You might know a lot about Jesus, but there's also Christians that don't know a lot about Jesus right now, and they need the knowledge, yes, but they need it in a gentle way and not a know-it-all way. But then there are people who know a lot about Jesus but choose not to share it. And that needs to be encouraged to do that as well. I personally am a little scared sometimes to share Jesus, especially to complete strangers. And there are some people in my life that are other Christians that encourage me to share Jesus more boldly. But not boldly in the fact that I'm going to put people down or demean them. And that's what was happening at the end of this chapter. Is people had this argument about food, whether it was clean or unclean, and people were being hurt and they were being burned by that. And so look into our lives now. What are some topics today that people are being demeaned by? Arguments, this COVID situation, the riots that happened a few weeks ago. A lot of opinions are going on right now. What do we need to share those opinions? What's the base of that? The base of that needs to be Jesus. Jesus needs to be our focus during all of this. Before you share an opinion, bring it to God and say, does this really need to be heard right now in this moment? And if he nudges you, great, share it, but share it in a loving way. But if he's saying, not now, listen, there's a reason for it. So I want to challenge you guys this week to really think about how you share your faith. Are you doing it in a bold way that's not demeaning? Or are you doing it in a pushy way that could maybe hurt someone's feelings? And that goes for all of our opinions and ideas. Think about that. Thanks for joining me today.